Wow, that's a loud one. All right. Welcome to this week's weekly celebration of service. I'm Tracy Ivanovich, and I'm thrilled to be serving as your president. And how about this room? This is the first time I've been in here for Rotary, so that was kind of exciting. Thank goodness I came with my father and was able to find it this morning. We came in the super secret back way, and as Hank said, thank goodness he didn't take me through the kitchen. All right. So thought for today is from Gandhi. It says immorality is often taught in the name of morality. And I thought that was pretty interesting, given things going on these days. And I'm excited to see that we have quite a turnout for the club assembly. So now you're putting total pressure on me. And with that, David Wright, if you would come up and give the reflection.
Well, with Thanksgiving right around the corner, I'd like to reflect this week on my grandmother and a personal story she shared with us at one of the many family gatherings she hosted when I was a child. The youngest of 10 children of a poor coal mining family in Jasonville in the early 1900s, she had decided at a young age that she would set her mind on leaving her rural county and poverty behind. To that end, she graduated a year early from high school, graduated from college, and got a job teaching in Wisconsin. There, she scrupulously saved her money, and after she had accumulated a comfortable amount in the bank, allowed herself the luxury of buying a car to pursue her dream of travel. Unfortunately, when she was in her mid-20s, the Great Depression struck, and all the wealth she had generated and safely and responsibly secured in the bank vanished in one day. A few months later, her extended family back home were struggling financially as well. She told us then a thought that would stick with me for my whole life. She said, "It was then that I decided that I would never again invest in the bank, but instead would invest in people." So she sold her car, began sending money back home to help family get by, and helped numerous relatives over the years get through tough times and go to college. Like many of you, she adopted a life of service and generosity in her community as well. I feel she would have fully embraced the Rotary motto, service above self, and would have felt right at home here today. And that she would have eagerly agreed with the second Rotary motto, he profits most who serves best, seeing service to others not as self-sacrifice, but as a personally rewarding way of life. So today, to celebrate the spirit of Thanksgiving, I'd like to express my thanks to all of you for the way you celebrate the spirit of giving as she did. It feels like family. And as we celebrate this year's harvest and the prosperity of our times, let's not forget that lifting up others is an investment in the world we all live in, and that by doing so, we are planting the seeds for a better tomorrow, a better world, and a better humanity. And I'd like to leave you with this quote from the philanthropist Helen Walton. "It's not what you gather, but what you scatter that tells what kind of life you have lived."
Thank you, David. That was beautiful. And Hank, if you could come up and do our guests.
First of all, let me apologize to any of you who had a hard time finding our meeting today. Apparently, we had a little miscommunication about who was making sure that the club knew, but we are doing a little bit of electrical work on the middle section of the building there that includes the frangipani room, and it made sense to we think the room probably would have been warm enough, but rather than that, rather than the whole probably would have been warm enough, it made sense to move the meeting up here. We just have one guest today here in person. Brianna Salola is a guest of the chamber. Brianna, if you would mind standing, please, so we can welcome you. And is at IU Health. Welcome. Are there any guests online?
Hello, everybody. It's so great to see you in the solarium today. No guests online, all just happy Rotarians.
Awesome. And first of all, Hank, I choose to believe that you did the solarium in honor of Club Assembly, so I see it as a plus. And then secondly, Alon, could you do your Joy impersonation one more time?
Of course. Hello, everybody. I'm not Joy today, but I'm Alain.
Thank you. Hopefully New York is fabulous. All right. So birthdays this week, Ron Barnes, the 26th, Henry Leck, the 24th, Jeff on the 30th, and Wilson Shatandi on the 24th. And for anniversaries, we have Stacy Bruce for 1 year, Tim Riffle for 2 years, and Mr. Shermis for 13 years. All right. And so announcements, hold on to your hats. We got quite a bit going on, and it all seems to be in the medical area. For those of you who are not aware, John Diltz underwent surgery and he is doing very well. He was up in Cleveland for heart. He was doing PT as of Thursday and is going to be scheduled. If he's not already home, he's going to be coming home with his son, Andrew. Aaron Davis had surgery yesterday and Martha was with him. He is doing well. They are still not sure what they need from a help standpoint. So stay tuned. We may be doing some dinners, more to come on that front. But the good news is he's doing very well. And then you may notice that some of the tables have get well cards. Martha Wells fell and broke her shoulder. Judy's been taking care of her and hosting her as she works on her mobility with her arm. If you wouldn't mind signing the card, she is the person who sends all the get well cards to all of our members. And we thought it would be very fun. Thank you, Sarah, for the tip on this. We thought it'd be very fun for us to all sign cards, and we're going to send her a card each day. So she gets lots and lots of Rotary love from all of us because she takes care of all our members so well. And on that note, I think Michael will do happy dollars. Do we have any happy people out there? We should. It was very easy parking, that's for sure. Can't hear.
$50 for the gentleman that we're trying to bring in as a refugee into the U.S. I want to thank our Senator, U.S. Senator Todd Young's office for helping Rotary track down what is the status of Nassim, who is the gentleman who's from Afghanistan, but been stuck 10 years in Indonesia. We've been trying to figure out how his case is doing. And so now thanks to Senator Young's office, I now have a case number and I know its exact status. That's the happy part. But what I don't know is whether his case will be processed before January 20th. So we're all watching and waiting, but it is moving. Thank you.
More happy dollars out there. Lynn.
I'm happy because my daughter's visiting from Houston. It's kind of nice, her and her dog. And it's great to see her again. I only see her a couple times a year. That's all.
I'm happy to be sitting at a table with such lovely, lovely Rotarians.
Wow, I could walk through this.
Well, this is the last club meeting in November, which is the Rotary International Foundation month that we recognize that. So in keeping with my pledge, I'm increasing another $11 for the 11th month to my quarterly gift. So
I've got $5 happy. Saturday, was a big day for me because it marks 9 years since I've overcome my self-harm problem.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm happy because I get to see Michael run all the way across the solarium. No, I have happy dollars. Just as a reminder and a free invitation, the Monroe County NAACP will have a holiday party on December 10th. It's a Tuesday night and it'll be out at the UU Church, beginning at 6, I believe. But we'll have more formal invitations and those sorts of things coming up soon. So just wanted to give you a heads up.
And Alon, do we have any online?
I will throw in, I will do 10 happy dollars for Tyler in celebration of his anniversary, and then another $10 just to celebrate the fact that I'm with my family here on the Upper West Side of New York, having a great time and very happy to be with you all as well.
And I want to give 10 happy dollars because I just see that Raj has joined us, and it's nice to see your face again, Raj.
Well, I feel well, thank you. I give $50 for the occasion. I moved into my new apartment 5 days ago, and we are very happy and delighted to be here in Chicago. That said, I extend invitation to whoever come from our members and would like to have a cup of coffee, visit with me while they are here. I would love to do that. I am very fortunate, man, to live another year to see Thanksgiving coming our way. With all that, my gratification and gratitude is unlimited. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you.
All right. All right. And with that, Tyler, we'll move to the program and I'll introduce myself. Hello. We're doing Club Assembly Day. And by the way, Raj, I think Dad, Sue, myself, and my husband may take you up on that because we have people up in Chicago. We'd love to come see you. So look out.
What a treat for me.
You say that now. All right. Let's put the slides up and we'll go through the Club Assembly information. And really, you got it, Tyler? This is weird because I can't see with it's very strategically located behind the pole there. Just like when Steve Engel was giving the thing, I was like, who's he talking to? All right. There we go. So let me make sure I've got this working. There we go. So you guys may recall at the beginning of the term, I talked about the object of Rotary being to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and to encourage and foster the development of acquaintance as an opportunity of service, high ethical standards, the application of the ideal of service in each Rotarian's business, as well as the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, peace through a world of fellowship in the business and professional expertise. Kind of paraphrasing things because we've looked at this a couple of times. But I think that repetition is important because we have a lot of new members, myself included, and this is really foundational as to who we are. And one of the things I wanted to share about on this slide, we had at our board meeting last Thursday, we talked a lot about membership. And as I was reflecting through after the meeting, the board meeting, I was reflecting about, who we're looking for to bring on as members, why people join Rotary, and why they may leave. And again, I come back to these core principles in here, and we want people who want to be involved with service. Yes, we have great programs. Thank you, Michael and team. It's phenomenal. We all enjoy the programs immensely. We enjoy the fellowship of having lunch together, but we also do a lot outside of the Tuesday meetings. And it can be a little intimidating sometimes when it feels like we are always asking people to do stuff. But that's the core of who we are. We are people of action. And so I want to keep reminding us of that because if we aren't doing action, then we're just, I think Ron uses the term a knife and fork club, and that's not who we want to be. That's not what Rotary is. So I thought I'd bring that up. We are always asking for something, but we're a service club and we are intended to be a people of action. Having said that, it feels like sometimes we ask for money a lot too. That one I'm less concerned about. People who can give. If they can't give, that's okay. So I don't think any of us want anyone to ever feel like they have to give money, etc. It's do what you can. But on the service front, we'll ask and push for more because that's what you join Rotary to do, is to meet people and to be involved in the community. All right. So, and I go back to, I think one of the core thoughts that I used at that point in time was, again, Gandhi. I kind of like him. Be the change you want to see. And part of that change is the service that we do out in the community. All right. So for today, it's really about updating and getting a common understanding of the outside goals that we have as a club from a goal standpoint, as well as a big project updates, because we're doing a lot of the service things outside. An update on Rotary International, which is what allows us as a club to interact across the world and to affect people all over the world. And then a little bit of a further deep understanding on the Bloomington Rotary Foundation, because people always get confused, but myself being one of those people, between Rotary International Foundation as well as the Bloomington Rotary Foundation. And then we have a couple of celebrations. And again, as I reflected on the board discussion, I thought about it's easy to come and to see our programs. They're great. It's easy to come and talk and interact with our fellow Rotarians. They're great. But it's easy to miss the big picture if we don't talk about it. And so I thought that was what was important for this meeting, is to talk about the big picture and the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes. And I also asked Michael, as I'm going through the slides, rather than waiting till the end, I'd like to take questions throughout. So I'll have to remind myself to pause, because these are the things that we as a club are doing. And some people have a really good understanding of these things and others people don't. And that's okay. But if we don't ask the questions, then you're not going to have a good understanding. So there's no question that's out of bounds, so to speak. Fair? All right. So as I look at this slide, I'm reminded of my friend Aaron Davis. He said, goals are great, but don't be too corporate. This was guidance for me. And he's right. He's right. You give me some numbers, I want to blow them away, because that's just the way I'm a salesperson. That's what you do. But at the end of the day, you do want to have goals. You do want to achieve them. And so it's important that we understand where we are on those goals. And some of them, I expect us to hit all of them. Some of them may be more lofty than others. But for the most part, we're doing pretty well. So from a service standpoint, and to me, there's a reason the service standpoint is the service line is first. Because as we talked about, we are a service above self. Right now, we're trending at, last year we did 153% attained. We had a goal of 40. This year, we put a goal doubled. So this is one that we said, we're going to really ramp it up, because this is what Rotary is about. And we want to have 80 members be involved in activities. And what are those activities? That would be Salvation Bell, ringing the bell. It would be the patties that were sold out at Spencer. It's Teachers Warehouse, all of these things. We're also going to be looking at redefining some of the service elements, just haven't gotten there, and that's on me. So there'll be more coming on that front, but we'd like to see every member, ideally I'd like 100%. I don't think that's realistic. We have 172 members counting organizations. So 80 should be doable. Right now we're at 45, so 56% attainment halfway through the year. That's pretty darn good. But I would implore everyone on the phone, everyone here in the room, to be a part of that and kick in. From an annual fund contribution, we'll talk a little bit more about this in depth later, but we are making progress. And by the way, the $11 campaign, thanks Dad for bringing your additional $11 today, brought in another $1,436 last week from 12 different members and Rotarians. So again, remember, this is the cornerstone of our Rotarian efforts. Right now, we're at 46%. I should have brought my reading glasses. We're at 46%. And Tyler, hopefully I don't mess up your screen here. So again, about halfway there. And typically at the first of the year, we see a lift. Remember that we do have the ability to add this to our quarterly invoices as well. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. From a service project standpoint, last year we did 104%. This year we're trending right now. Sorry. We did 80%. We had 8 that we did on a goal of 10. We raised the goal to 14 and we're at 10. So we're running at 71%. So we're doing pretty well on that front too. From a club membership standpoint, we are ahead of the curve halfway through the year. We're at 89% to date. And we've actually had a few, and I think I've mentioned some of the people who have left the club because they weren't able to, some people moved, some people just weren't able to be as involved as they had thought they would be. And to be honest, as you bring in new members, there are always going to be some attrition because there may not be the right match. And that's just a part of the nature. Having said that, we'll talk a little more in depth on membership and sponsorship in a bit, because I think we could do more from a sponsor standpoint in making sure that as we bring new people in, we give them the love and wrap our arms around them to help them understand Rotary. From a bequest society, this is with the Rotary International. We have currently 2 bequest members, so we're the head of the curve. This one, Yolanda, I think those are existing bequests. I don't think those were new this year, correct? Okay, so hopefully we can get a new one this year as well. On that front. Social activities, this would include things like the Future Cast that we did, the toast that we did. We have the holiday party coming up, and then we're going to have a picnic in the spring or summer, actually. So we're well on our way to hitting that target. The youth exchange student, we've had Chloe here several times, so right on target there. Rotaract clubs, we continue to have the one, which is fantastic. And I love seeing our Rotaract members in here every week. Now they're gone because they're at home this week, hence the ability to find parking. And then Mr. Alon is tearing it up on the media stories and updating the website with social media. He is an overachiever as always, but 26 media stories versus a goal of 4. And we call that a lay down in sales. And 27 on the website and social media. So job well done there. And then leadership participation. This is one that we need to take a look at. And I know that we have a selection committee that goes around to look to people who are leadership, but we have a lot of new members and would love to see, this is an opportunity for new members to get leadership training. And there's a lot of it, not just at the district conference, but also on the Rotary site itself. So this is something that we should be taking advantage of because it's relatively inexpensive. And there's no reason we shouldn't leverage that tool. Any questions on this page? Any questions online, Alon?
I don't think so. I think we're just watching along. It's great to see all the updates.
Okay, and then we'll go to the pie charts. I like ducks and bunnies. This is easy. So you can take a look at the club demographics, getting better on the member age. I know when I first joined, I think we were like 4 in the 30 to 39 range. So we've increased that. And I'm not sure this is right. And I don't mean to point fingers, but I think you're younger than 30. Just a little bit. So for some reason, we've got you incorrectly coded, but we'll come back to that. So anyway, we are pulling in. Come on in, Ann. You guys can come in. Don't be shy. Oh, thank you. So we are pulling in a younger demographic, which is great. We want to keep it fresh. And then from a gender standpoint, you got 42% on the females and 58 for the males. So we're seeing much more equality on that front as well. And I think that helps us all, just giving different perspectives, inclusiveness, and all the good things that come with that. Lastly, years of service. This one I thought was fascinating. We have 44 members, 0 to 1 year. We have 21 members, 2 to 3 years. That's kind of amazing. And that's why I wanted to talk so much about membership and the importance of helping all these new people come in, what we do outside of the Tuesday meeting alone, as well as the importance of new members stepping up to be on the board, stepping up into leadership roles, committee heads, and participating in the committees. Don't be shy, as well as the club service every Tuesday that we do. Did I use the word correctly, Sarah? Celebration of service, but doing the club service during the activity. So, don't be shy. I remember the first day I did the microphone and camera because Michael was always doing. I was like, I can operate a phone and a mic. It's no big deal. And of course, it was stateroom East, so I was squeezing through every table. And we're going to make mistakes. It's all right. We're all Rotarians, we're all friends, but that's how we learn. That's how you get different roles. And it also helps all of us get out of our comfort zone. And Mark, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to use you as an example. I asked Mark to join the board. He's like, oh, I don't normally do that. I joined Rotary so I could meet people and get out there. He said, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. Been in with us a year, just over a year, and he's already on the board. So we've got an Andrea and Heidi are new. They joined and took on the role of the family fun group. And now we have the holiday party well planned. We have the summer picnic coming up. So these are new members, just putting it out there, taking a leap and helping us all have a more powerful and more inclusive club. So thank you for that. All right. So I said I would talk a little bit more. Well, actually, let me pause. Any questions on that one? All right. So I said I wanted to talk a little bit more about membership. We've done orientations, and the orientations, I'm looking at it wrong because this was a pain point because I ran the membership committee. So this is on me, just to be clear. I'm not talking out of school. But we would have orientations, and we had the first one we had, there were like 17 people. It was amazing. It was great. And then we had like 5 others, and one person came to one of them, 2 came to the other, and then we had 3 at another. And there were a couple that people just forgot. And so trying to figure out the orientation meetings, very important because it helps give a highlight of the overview of Rotary for new members coming in. And so somehow we've got to figure out and crack the nut on how we break down the information so it's not all encompassing. One of our new members, again, at the board meeting Thursday, we were talking about this as a team. What do we do? And they said, well, I didn't even know the dues, what were available. We send out information that has it. So everybody gets it. But it's just so much information. So this is where you as sponsors take the time when you bring someone in to set up a coffee meeting with your new member. Take the time to walk through and see what questions they have and talk about service as well as the dues, how they are paid out or how they are invoiced, which now is much cleaner. Thank you, Natalie, and Claire for all the work on that. But we need as members as well as sponsors to help our new members get more comfortable because it really is. It's a lot of information out there. And then again, we talked about the leadership opportunities, especially as we have young people coming in. There are so many opportunities out there on the myrotary.com that you can go into the training site. You're not doing yourself a full value of the benefit of being a Rotarian if you're not trying to leverage that. Okay, so any questions there? Okay, now for the fun stuff. We'll talk about service above. Yeah, Dakira, sorry, Sally. Wait for the microphone.
Wanted to reflect on, there you are. Hello. I just wanted to reflect on the vast opportunity that we have in this club for leadership opportunities, leadership of projects, leaderships of committees, and then ultimately leadership of the board of directors of the club itself. And there are members of the board. Raise your hand if you're a member of the board. You see all these great Rotarians. And then there are 4 officers. Raise your hand if you're a current officer of the board. Yeah. Okay. We need more of them. See, we're only 2. We need more. We need to have people come to us being the nominating committee, which is the previous 3 immediate past presidents. That was redundant.
Which are who?
Myself. This is my 3rd and final year of being an immediate past president. Ron Barnes and Alan Barker. We're the nominating committee to get the new leadership for our club. Our club doesn't continue if we don't have people in those jobs. Most of us in this room, many of us, have already had those roles. And we've always had the tradition in our club that you're only president once. Who wants to be president again? Nobody's going to raise their hand. Am I right, Jim? Anyway, I'm sorry to take the microphone, but it's really important to the backbone of our club that people, however long you've been in the room, if you've been here for 20 years, 10, 5 or fewer, come to us and say, yes, I'm interested in learning more about stepping up to the plate and becoming an officer, president-elect, and then president, secretary, and treasurer of the board of directors. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. That was very appropriate. So thank you. All right. So now we're going to talk about AMPATH, our international arm effort of service. Then we'll talk about the local district grant. Sarah will give us the update there. Then we'll talk about the TOAST, which is our big fundraiser. And then we're not really going to talk streamlining processes. I've been talking about that. I'm not going to go into that really. We'll skip into the BRF Scholarship Fund, and then we'll do some celebrations. So with that, Steve, if you wouldn't mind coming up and giving people just an overview of where we are with AMPATH.
Thanks, Tracy. So late last week, we mailed a $10,000 check to the IU Foundation for AMPATH. And it's to fund a 3-day in-person. And we didn't put any notes saying, hey, can you wait 2 weeks to cash the check? That was not part of it. But it's for a 3-day in-person positive parenting training seminar for 150 Western Kenya community health promoters. And you can find details about the program on your tables. Of the $10,000, $5,200 was raised from a small group of club members, and $4,800 was from the club itself. And the club portion is a line item in this year's club budget. For those of you who are new to the club, or you might have missed the AMPATH presentation in May, AMPATH Kenya is a partnership between Moi University, Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, the Kenyan government, and the AMPATH Consortium of universities around the world. And the AMPATH Consortium efforts in Kenya are led by the IU School of Medicine, and the AMPATH Consortium is headquartered in Indianapolis. So AMPATH's mission is to improve the health of people in underserved communities. AMPATH partners serve a population of more than 24 million in Western Kenya at 300 plus clinical sites, ranging from village health centers, dispensaries, county hospitals, and Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. So this club's been in existence over 100 years, and to the best of our knowledge, this AMPATH project is the first international project that our club has done in which we've partnered with Indiana University. So going forward, we're awaiting word from AMPATH regarding the scheduling of training. Depending on the timing, we may have a club member go over to attend the session. The Rotary Club of Eldoret, Kenya, has already provided valuable input in terms of the project selection and design, and then we hope that they will participate in the publicity for the event itself. And so after this training weekend is concluded, we'll review the event, determine if we want to move forward with another project with AMPATH. They've already asked us to begin thinking about a possible cervical cancer project. As part of the sibling city efforts, Alan Barker and Jerona Rotich made the trip to Palo Alto. And in that trip, there was an AMPATH discussion because Stanford University is part of the AMPATH consortium. Any questions about International Committee or AMPATH?
Are there other Rotary clubs involved in this project other than the one in Kenya?
At this point, for this project, we were the only ones, and all the money came from our club or club members. So there is no Rotary International grant or anything like that. The next iteration, if we grow this, we would want to involve other Rotary clubs, the district, maybe some parties outside of Rotary. Alan?
Well, yeah, I'll just mention that in the discussion in Palo Alto, we had a direct conversation with the two Rotary clubs there, the Rotary Club of Palo Alto and the Rotary University Club, and both have expressed interest in continuing the conversation with us about the cervical cancer project. And so that's an ongoing conversation that we hope to report back to you sometime in the next few weeks.
So much as Alan has been an overachiever leading communications, he's also been an overachiever in the International Committee. Thank you.
And just to follow up on that idea to your question, we would love to, we need to prove success first, and then we'll take it to some of the other clubs. But that is ultimately where we'd like to go, is to grow it. And I will just tell you a little aside. I just got back from Belgrade, Serbia. And my husband and I were out to dinner at the top of the Hilton. And it was a wonderful restaurant, and all the waiters were from Kenya. And so we were talking, they don't speak Serbian, by the way, which was kind of weird. But because the Hilton's so international, English is what's used. So we were talking to them about this project, or I was rather, about AMPATH, and about, I was focused more on the maternal care and positive parenting and the HIV issues. And they said that there is so much needed. So just know that it's not just the club that we're working with there. The people of Kenya appreciate everything that we do for them. So it was nice to hear the reinforcement of that. And next, let's bring it local. Sarah, if you would like to come up and talk about our district grant and where we're at with that. I got you right while you were typing. Oh, you're taking notes. That's right. Double tasking.
So I can't say anything off the script. Just an update on the Rotary District Grant project for this year. Many of you know that we have been the fortunate recipient of grant funds from the district for our service projects for several years, I think maybe 20 almost. And during the years when I was involved with this project, it's a matching grant. It was easy to get the money from the district, hard to match it from our club. We didn't have an annual fundraising event. We didn't have a source of reliable funds that we could count on. Since the Rotary Toast, so in the last 10 years, we have had that money. And the primary use of the Rotary Toast funds that come to our club has been, the first use has been to match those district funds so that we are sure every year that we can apply for the maximum. And every year I think we've received the maximum. Where does that money come from? Well, this is a confusing thing, but when you contribute to the Rotary International Fund, when you do your $100 a year, your every Rotarian every year contribution, or any other contribution to the Rotary International Fund, Yolanda, they take that money and invest it for 3 years. The income from the investment, the interest from the investment, runs the Rotary International office in Evanston. They use half of the money. After 3 years, they use half of that year's money to fund international projects, which we know about. And the other half goes back to the districts. David. Oh, I'm too close to the mic. Oh, okay. Sorry. Too close to the mic or? Okay. Sorry. So I have felt in my time in the club that we're sending, $20,000 a year to Rotary International. 10,000 of that is coming back to the district. The most we can request for the district grant is $3,000. I have felt a serious obligation for us to request that money every year. It's our money to do our projects. So we have done that. This year, our project is, and typically what we do in the Community Service Committee is we ask for, we send out a request for proposals, and that is every club member gets invited to submit a proposal from a local nonprofit. And then we look through all of those and decide which one we will choose. And it's frequently based on, of course, any nonprofit can use $6,000, but the harder part for them usually is how do we involve 25 Rotarians in the project? And so sometimes we have turned down ones where we're trail maintenance or something like that, because that's just not the demographic of our club. We like to see volunteer opportunities that allow everyone in the club to be involved if they want to. This year's project is with My Sister's Closet, and they are planning to build a bike rack. And it's more than just a bike rack, though. So those of you who are familiar with My Sister's Closet, they serve homeless and at-risk women who face substantial barriers to employment. And so they do, of course, dress them, clothe them, and give them personal care items, but they also provide resume writing and interview skills training and everything else that you need to get ready to look for a job. And the people are referred to them by the township trustees and the Middleway House and all of the other low income serving organizations in the community that especially focus on women. And then you also know that they take donations. Many of you probably have dropped off bags of clothes when you were cleaning out your closet. And I think one year, maybe 50% of us at the Rotary Toast were wearing dresses we bought from My Sister's Closet, because they have a great collection of fancy dresses. So you know, the income from their secondhand store funds their program along with donations from the community. So you're familiar with their location. They're at 2nd and just a little bit north of 2nd Street on College. Very, very busy central downtown location. It's on close to the bus route, but many of their clients also ride their bikes to My Sister's Closet. And right now there's no place to lock up your bike, and several have been stolen. So the bike rack plays a very practical role in just allowing people to ride their bikes and be sure they're secured. But Sandy, you know, didn't want it to be just a functional bike rack. She wanted an artistic, beautiful, women-focused bike rack. So Joe LaMantia, local artist, many of you probably know his work. He did the cat in front of Fairview Elementary, and the guitar on the parking garage downtown, and the sculpture out in front of Beacon, and many other things. He works with recycled, usually recycled metal, and he also makes gorgeous stair step handrails. He's the artist for the project. He doesn't work silently and alone in his studio. His way of working is collaborative. And so he wants it to be, each project to be tailored to include the clients, the volunteers, the supporters, and the community at large. So in our case, we're involved, and that's what we met last week. We had about 12 people stay after the meeting. I was so pleased to give him input on the design of the bike rack. He also has met with My Sister's Closet's volunteers and clients for their input on the bike rack. And we're waiting right now for his preliminary design, which will no doubt include visiting a lot of junkyards to get the material. We talked about a bike and the rotary wheel. We talked about suffragettes and the, you know, women's empowerment. We've got a lot of ideas, and we'll see what he comes up with. So our role as we go forward is to continue to be involved in the designing and the project planning, and then to conduct a letter writing campaign to let people know when it's about ready to be dedicated, and take a look out for it, stop and walk by and see it, and boost their social media messages. We've got the best in business in Elan, and help organize and attend the official dedication ceremony. So again, something very easy and wonderful for us to do the name tag table or whatever's involved, you know, refresh the punch at the dedication. So we're very excited about that project and looking forward to it.
Any questions on that? Jim? And thank you for waiting for the mic.
That's okay. Thank you. At our last board meeting, we talked about full financial impact on projects. So can you address a little bit why the majority of the funds we have available, we get like one project selected for its impact, as opposed to maybe picking 4 different ones and doing a little bit here that may not be near as effective?
Well, we're talking here about the district grant project, and we're only allowed to do one. We're only allowed to pick one. So in terms of the district grant project, there's one, and we have to pick. And, you know, surprisingly, with 170 of us, many of us who are work for a nonprofit or on a board of one or more nonprofits, we typically have fewer than 10 proposals to look at. So I would encourage you when the nominations come up next year to think about all the people that could use $6,000 in a little Rotary boost. I think your question is broader, Jim, and that is about all the money or, you know, all the funds we have available as a club. And I might defer to Sally to talk about the other big investment we made this year in the Beacon project when it's her turn. You want to do it now or? Okay, do it now. But I also will remind you that our mission or our statement for the club is something about, you know, community of leaders, blah, 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 blah. Forget the front part. The part that I always focus on is significant positive impact. And that's what we're chasing. And in the strategic plan, the Community Service Committee was especially tasked with identifying impact, solidifying our impact, increasing our impact. So we're not getting rid of our 1 day things or 1 hour things. We're seeing those as kind of the gateway drugs to get into the habit of service and the friendship and fellowship that comes with, you know, ringing the bells or collecting food for or supplies for Teachers Warehouse. But we want to do things that last a long time and really help a lot of people.
I think we're running out of time. So I had a couple of slides that I was going to address, but maybe that won't happen. So Jim, was your question about how did the Bloomington Rotary Foundation, BRF, derive how it spent $20,000, which is a lot of money? Right. I think and this is a surprising answer, it's bandwidth. We're all volunteers. I was a professional grant maker in my career for 40 or more years. It takes a lot of administrative work to run a grants program. We could have done that. We didn't do that for the district grant this year either. Not enough volunteer hours. So what we did at the Bloomington Rotary Foundation, which is our 501c3 not-for-profit arm, where we have an endowment for our scholarships, but we also have community service money, mostly from the Toast proceeds. What happened was I, as the new president, got 1 year, looked at our balance sheet and there was a lot of money sitting in the bank that could have been doing good in the community and was sitting in the bank, not doing anyone good in the community, wasn't even earning us any interest. I know. So we discussed it as a board and we thought, you know, we do want to make an impact. Let's work with our Community Service Committee to do that. So I attended the Community Service Committee retreat.
Sally, just to clarify, the Bloomington Rotary Foundation Board.
Yes. Yes, sorry. Yeah, we have 2 boards. We're an official 501c3 not-for-profit board of directors. And then the club has its own, I think the club is a 501c4, but don't get me. Where was I?
So you partnered with the community service.
We partnered with the Community Service Committee and we talked, there are a lot of people on the Community Service Committee, and we talked about what kinds of projects might make an impact. And we focused on Beacon as one. That's how it happened. Then we took that back to the Bloomington Rotary Foundation board. They said yes. That then went to the club's board, and then we made the gift.
And so just to follow up on that, so I am a co-chair for Beacon. And so there's some question of transparency here. I was not involved in the decision. Jeff and Charlotte are also involved with the fundraising capital campaign. They were not involved in the decision as well. And we have a bylaw as a club on a policy that states if there is a conflict of interest, whether you're representing a nonprofit or you live in the community or you are involved in some way, you have to recuse yourself from the event. So just know that is being adhered to, because to your point earlier, all of us are involved. I think Ron asked how many people were involved in 4 More, and we have quite a few people that are involved in 4 More or more different nonprofits. So we're going to have conflicts of interest at times. So we have to be good stewards and follow that. So Charlotte, you had a question.
Yeah. My question was, is this the thing that is it prioritized because it's a major concern of the community, or is there another one that's more important at this point?
I would ask Sarah and Sally, because I was not involved in the decision.
I think the Community Service Committee and the Foundation Board felt this was a very big concern of the community, and this was a very positive step forward, and a lot of money for them to raise to make it happen. Our piece of it will be the volunteer coordinator's office, which seemed really appropriate for us.
Okay, I'm going to move us along quickly. Let me go back just a bit, because I do want to talk about, I'm going to skip through the good news on the endowment fund for the Bloomington Rotary Foundation. Is we have seen an increase. Last August, Sally spoke to, we had $127,000 towards the goal of 200. I know that Sarah, Sally, and Liz have worked hard. We've had additional donors, and now we are up to 147,000. So making great progress there. That's a good round of applause. So, and then from a Rotary Jeff, yeah.
I know there's some discussion going on in the scholarship committee with Amy, who's chairing it. If we carve out even a couple of these grants to be Indiana focused people, partially factor in need, I think you'll see a number of people give more money to this effort, because it's a little hard for some of us to write a check knowing that we're sending kids off to Swarthmore and Middlebury and other schools. And I praise them. I admire them, but I really want to find a way that at least for some of these scholarships, we can help kids that it'll make a real, back to Jim Sims, impact in their lives to be able to go to school and afford it. Thanks.
Great point. Okay. So moving to Rotary International, we have currently 80 Paul Harris Fellows, 5 benefactors, 2 in the Bequest Society, and 4 major donors. If you look, we have 7 additional Paul Harrises that we have awarded this year. So doing well on that front. And we're currently, from a donors, we have 102. So we still have some more participation we're looking for. Again, quarterly invoice donations. We're just looking for a small amount, $100 every year, every Rotarian. And it's easy to do. And this is where you can go on to, you can either tell Natalie who can get you there, or you can go to the myrotary.org club site. Okay. We went through the BRF. It's time to celebrate. Hats. Sarah has a bunch of hats. We want to honor our top 10 service hour people. That would be, oh, we're honoring, excuse me. They've all got hats. So, well, but we do want to say thank you to all of our top 10 service hours for doing what we are all about as a club. And a special shout out to all of our new members who are participating and stepping up. Marcus DeBro, Mike Wade, Lori Garrity, Dakir, Mark Peterson, Michelle, Whitney, Cordoba, Diana Hoffman, David Wright, and James Wolf. So wear it with pride. One more quick update of celebration. We as a club, we added a line item for DEI funding. Raj, I think you started the DEI scholarships that we had. We actually have a budget line. The challenge was we didn't have money for the budget line. We were relying on Happy Dollars, et cetera. And working with the BRF team, we were able to find $1,600. It is interest that's generated off some of the CDs. That will be, and Patrick Smith is thrilled, that will be a ongoing line item budget in our annual budget. So we want to make sure that we're being inclusive and bringing in people that are different, younger, ethnic backgrounds. On that note, we also want to bring in people as we're looking for membership. We also want to bring in people from various businesses. So take a look around and who are we missing in that standpoint as well? Those would not be DEI funded necessarily, but we're missing sales, auto sales group. We're missing medical health care. So there's still some inclusivity we could do on that side as well. But super excited about the $1,600 line item. And thank you, BRF team, for the flexibility on that front. Holiday party update. Sorry, we're getting close to time. December 12th. It is going to be a lot of fun. You should have received an RSVP. If you didn't, let us know. We'll get it out to you. It will be at the Bloomington Country Club. We are going to present the check to Doug Bowder for the Quarryland Men's Chorus. The North Club will be joining us. We will have an auction for some of the wine that was left over from the toast. So be prepared. We'll have the little bags from Kroger to help you carry it out. There will be music. There will be a trivia game and a wonderful buffet with vegetarian and vegan options. But make sure in your RSVP that you notate if you would like that. And festive attire is welcome. And yes, Alon, you can wear your festive sweater that I seem to recall from a couple of years ago. And then lastly, there are cards on the table. Please sign those for Martha Wales. She does all of our cards that we mail out to people when they're injured or sick or have hardships. And we thought it'd be lovely. I think I already said that. This is the address. If somebody could address the cards, we'll get those over to Natalie. And with that, we are going to have a new donation selected. Yolanda, if you wouldn't mind coming up and picking out who next quarter, I'm going to go ahead and do this now. So this will be for January. By my dad's head. Okay, starting in January, the warehouse will be our recipient. Dad, thanks for the big head. All right. And right now we'll be donating to the refugee project, $100 for the quarter. And thank you to Natalie, as always, for all that you do. Glad you are back from Michigan. You were sorely missed. Dakir, thank you for greeting. Hank, thank you for the introductions. Alon, aka Joy, thank you for the Zoom hosting. And David Wright, fantastic reflection. Thank you so much for that deep thought. Sarah, thank you for double duty on reporting and presenting. And Michael Shermis, nice wheels going around with the mic and camera. And Tyler, as always, thank you for the Zoom and audio. Next meeting will be on the 3rd in the Frangipani room, maybe. And our speaker will be Caroline Dowd Higgins on Some Day Is Not a Day of the Week. And with that, if you could put the 4-way test up and everybody rise. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun?
you.